So again, I'm back with a new tutorial, and here I'm going to complete the remaining targeting methods. Our next targeting method is URL. This method is used to target the website URL. So here I'm going to type document dot in capital URL. If I set this file, as you can see in my console, it's written the local server address as the URL. Because we work with localhost server, that's why it's written this URL. And it is the same URL you can see in my URL bar. Now, similar to URL, we have another method named domain. So again, I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one. And here I'm going to type domain. If I set this file, it is going to return the actual domain name. Let me show you. Here you can see it's written the IP address, and it is our domain. It's always written the actual domain name, not the other pages like URL. Similar to URL and domain, we have another function, which is base URI. Let me show you. So here I'm going to type document.base URI. This method also returns the URL. If I set this file, you can see the result. This method returns the complete URL. It's written the URL with protocol name, and our protocol is HTTP. So these are all basic targeting functions. And now we are going to use the main targeting method. So at first, I'm going to target the element by their ID name. So I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one. And to target element with ID name, we need to type document.get element by ID. And inside the round braces, we need to pass the ID name. Now, let's back to the HTML page. Here you can see a lot of ID. Wrapper ID, header ID, menu ID. And I want to target header ID. So I'm going to copy the name. And back to my main.js file. And inside the double quotes, we need to pass the ID name. And our ID name is header. So let's set the file and see what it's written. If I set this file, it's written null. So let's run the code directly in my console. So I copy the line, and in my console, I'm going to type document.getElementById header. If I press enter, you can see it successfully identifies our ID, header. And if I open it, you can see inside the header tag we have, and inside this div we have h1 tag. Now, using this method, I want to target footer. So again, I'm going to type document.getElementById, and inside the double quotes, I'm going to type footer. If I press enter, you can see it's written the footer div. In this tutorial, I just teach you how can we target elements by their tag name, by their ID, by their class name, etc. But in our upcoming tutorials, we are going to learn what we can do after target this element. And now, I'm going to target element by their class name. So again, I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one. And here I'm going to type document.getElement by class name. And inside the round braces and inside the double quotes, we need to pass the class name. So again, I'm back to the HTML page. In this page, here I use only one class name, content image. So I'm going to target this image by their class name. So I'm going to copy the class name and back to my main.js file. And inside the double quotes, I'm going to paste it. Content image. If I set this file, you can see in my console, it's written HTML collection. And inside this HTML collection, we have only one class, length 1. Now the question is, when we target element by the class name, in that case, why in our console return length? But when we target element by their ID, in that case, it's written directly the structure. Because ID is unique. Because we need to use ID in one particular tag. We cannot use the same ID multiple times. But for class, we can use the same class multiple times. That's why it's written length. And if you notice, also you can see the difference between method names. Here the method name is getElement. But for class, we need to type getElements. Because ID is unique and class is not. And if you want to target the particular index, for that, you need to pass the index number. So here, inside the square braces, I'm going to pass 0. Because the index number of this image is 0. And set this file, and again it's written undefined. So I'm going to run this code in my console directly. And if I press enter, you can see the result. It returned the image tag with class name content image. And now I'm going to target elements by their tag name. So again, I'm going to duplicate this line and comment out previous one. And here I'm going to type get elements by tag name. And inside the round braces, we need to pass the tag name. So let's back to the HTML page, and I'm going to target this UL tag. So I copy the UL, and in my JS file, I'm going to paste it. If I set this file, as you can see, again it returned HTML collection, because in one HTML document, we can use UL tag multiple times. So, and if I open the HTML collection, you can see total length of UL tag is 3. And if I show you my index.html file, here you can see we use UL tag multiple times for sidebar, for content, and for menu. And if I hover my cursor, index number 0, as you can see, it highlights menu section. And then I hover my cursor, index number 1, it highlights content section. And if I hover index number 2, it highlights sidebar section. And now I want to target the particular URL tag. I want to target this sidebar section. So I'm going to copy the method, and I'm going to run this command in my console section, and I'm going to paste it. After round braces, we need to use square braces, and inside the square braces, we need to pass the index number. Here I need to pass 2. If I press enter, as you can see, it selects whole sidebar section which is made with UL tag, and you can see all the li tag inside the UL tag. So in this tutorial, we'll learn how we can target element by their class name, by their ID, and by their tag name. And also we work with other targeting methods. So this is it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we are going to learn get and set value methods. So thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned.